Dear students, I am Raghavendra HM, Assistant Professor of English in Government First Grade College, Tumkur. In this session, I am going to explain the first two chapters of the novel Animal Farm, written by George Orwell. This novel is prescribed for the English language syllabus of third semester of Tumkur University. The students of BCom, BBM, BCA and BSW are going to learn this novel. First, let us have a small recap of the last session. In the previous session, I hope you have gone through a short introduction to the novel Animal Farm, and you have also learned a few things about the author George Orwell, and I hope you have learned some of the key words that appear in the novel, like socialism. You have to learn the meaning of socialism, and I hope you have already learned the meaning of socialism and other terms like communism, Marxism, and a few more keywords like allegory, what is allegory, what is fable, etc. If you have not, please go through the previous session, the session which gives you an introduction to the novel, and then please come back to this session. After listening to this session, you are going to learn a few things. What are those few things? You are going to be introduced to a very important characters of the novel. Then you will also have a practical knowledge of key terms like allegory. You will learn in a better way what is allegory, what is a fable, and also you will learn about the Russian Revolution in a different way. You will also learn about Karl Marx and communism. Now let us begin the chapter. Through animal allegory, learners can have a keen grasp of the 20th century political events that include Russian Revolution and emergence of communism and Marxism in the novel. So it's an animal allegory is used to describe the political events that happened in the 20th century during Russian Revolution in Russia. Okay. In the chapter 1 of the novel Animal Farm, Mr. Jones, the owner of a farm in England named Manor Farm, is introduced to you. He was a drunkard and he ill-treated animals of his farm. You come across one of the most important character in the novel called Old Major. Old Major was an old boar, means a pig, a male pig. So this boar was the oldest animal of this manor farm. You will come across a few events that happened in Animal Farm. Old Major had sent a message to all animals in the in the manor farm to have a secret meeting in the barn in a few days to convey the events of his dream last night. Here you should notice that allegorically Mr. Jones represents the Tsar of Russia during 20th century. Tsar means the king, kings are called Tsars in Russia during that time, and the owner of the manor farm is allegorically none other than the Tsar of Russia. And the old boar named Old Major is none other than Karl Marx. Now you will notice a gathering of animals in the barn of the farm, and a few more important characters of the novel are introduced. You have already came to know about the owner of the farm, Mr. Jones, and Old Major. Apart from that, you are also introduced to a few important characters like dogs. Dogs also gather in the animal farm, in the barn. Dogs like Jessie, Bluebell are introduced, and horses like Boxer and Clover are introduced. You are also introduced to another horse named Molly. You are introduced to a goat named Muriel, a donkey named Benjamin, and a raven named Moses. And you are also introduced to a few minor characters in the novel. All animals are gathered in the barn to receive a message from Old Major. This was the message of Old Major. He says, animals' wretched life is caused by man because they are the slaves of man. And man is cruel and he exploits all animals. He says, let me quote the novel, what Old Major says. I'm quoting here. Whatever goes upon two legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon four legs or has wings is a friend, he says. Which means Old Major considers all human beings as enemies of animals. Old Major's preachings continues. He says, no animal should live in a house, sleep in bed, wear clothes, drink alcohol, use money. These are bad things that only human beings do. All animals should avoid these things. He teaches the song titled Beasts of England, Beasts of Ireland. All animals sing this song aloud, and through this song, the spirit of freedom is ignited in the mind of all the animals of the manor farm. This is what happens in chapter 1. Let me come to chapter. In the second chapter, you will notice that the igniter of the spirit of freedom of animal farm, Old Major, died. Just a few days after the meeting that was held in the animal farm, Old Major died. That was a big blow to the spirit of freedom among animals, but due to old age, he died. But the influence of his teachings continued. Pigs, being most intelligent animals, continued the spirit of freedom among animals through various secret meetings similar to that of the barn meeting. Two pigs named Napoleon and Snowball took the leadership of the animals. Next happens what is described as the revolt of animals, which reminds the Russian Revolution of 1917 that happened in Russia, which led to a few consequences in the political leadership of Russia then. Let us come back to animal farm. One night, Mr. Jones and his men forgot to feed animals. Animals were hungry and they could not tolerate the hunger anymore. So a cow broke the barn door and started eating the hay. Other animals of the farm followed the example of the cow. Jones and his men tried to control them, but they could not. Animals revolted against man and drove them out of the farm. And they declared freedom. They declared freedom of animals from the cruelty of man. After the revolt, animals celebrated their freedom in a very fine manner, and the farm, which was titled Manor Farm, was changed into Animal Farm. Snowball emerged the most intelligent animal of the farm. He actually was able to read and write. So he took a brush and changed the name Manor Farm into Animal Farm. All animals managed to do the work which was previously done by human beings. Pigs somehow was successful in the first job, that is milking the cows. So they successfully milked the cows with the help of their forked hoofs. Snowball and Napoleon then frame what is called the 7 commandments of animals, the 7 rules which all animals must follow without fail. It is like the constitution to Animal Farm. What were those 7 commandments? Let me tell you one by one. Number 1, whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Number 2, whatever goes upon 2 legs, 4 legs is a friend. No animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep in bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. No animal shall kill any other animal. 7th, all animals are equal. This is what is described as the 7 commandments framed by Napoleon and Snowball, the 2 leaders of the Animal Farm. So, dear students, I have given you a gist of the first 2 chapters that is actually described in your novel. You have to go through the original novel once, and only then you can understand and appreciate this video. Because without reading the textbook, you are not supposed to understand anything. So first you read the novel and then listen to this video, and you watch even the PPT provided with this session, which contains chapter 1 and chapter 2 of the novel. You will also be provided with notes, PDF material about these 2 chapters. You have to go through that also. Then you will be able to understand and appreciate the first two chapters well. Thank you, friends. Let me continue in the next session. Thank you all.